I can't watch. I've seen this on Twitter. I can't watch this.
On September 2nd, in the Caribbean Sea, a U.S. military drone found what it was looking for: a 12-meter-long wooden boat. They're commonly used here by fishermen and also drug traffickers. Typically, the U.S. would stop and search the boat to find out which, but this time, the U.S. just blew it up. 2 weeks later, the U.S. blew up another boat, then another, and another, and another. Donald Trump claimed that dozens.
Holy fuck.
And another, and another,
hold on,
and another.
Brother, that boat is fucking. That's a mother loader, bro. That's the Max Win.
Classic USA.
Brother, that's fucking insane. Brother, how many people do you think you could kill with this? Bro, probably hundreds of thousands. No?
Donald Trump claimed that dozens of people killed by these strikes worked for drug cartels, and that this was just the start of his new strategy to stop them.
To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. We have no choice.
But most of Trump's strikes were in the wrong place. Most drugs are produced in Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Mexico, then trafficked overland or through the Pacific. Then in October, we found out the real target.
Trump is ramping up his military campaign in the Caribbean.
Made it clear he wants Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro removed from power.
Trump ordered the Navy's largest and most advanced aircraft carrier to the region.
Authorized the CIA to operate inside Venezuela.
And warned Venezuela and its cartels that striking land is next.
How did Trump turn a war on drug cartels into a potential war with Venezuela?
This is not stretching the envelope. This is tearing the envelope apart.
And where could he take that war next?
It seems like a recipe for a war that could go on forever.
Interesting.
Trump's right about one thing. The cartels are stronger than ever. The first modern drug cartel was formed in the 1970s by a Colombian named Pablo Escobar. He smuggled cocaine through the Caribbean and made millions of dollars. Then he united several gangs into one organization and made billions. By the 1980s, the Medellin cartel was making 80% of the cocaine trafficked in the US.
I watched Narcos Mexico and Narcos fucking 2 times each.
This is the most violent of cities. There's a killing here every 3 hours, some committed by these motorcycle gangs who work on retainers for the cartel.
The Medellin cartel was too powerful for the Colombian government to take on alone. So the U.S. helped by sending its law enforcement agencies and its military.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
Richard Nixon was the first president to declare a war on drugs, but Ronald Reagan supercharged the military's role in it. He sent so-called military advisors and weapons to Colombia and ordered the Navy to shut down trafficking routes. But the war on drugs wasn't an actual war. And the Medellin cartel wasn't an invading force that the military could shoot without warning. It was a group of criminals. So while the military could help find cartel members, law enforcement arrested and prosecuted them. That's how the U.S. helped dismantle the Medellin cartel, and eventually find Escobar, who died in a shootout. But the war on drugs continued, and presidents kept involving the military in it. George H.W. Bush invaded Panama, partly by citing Panama's leader's indictment for drug trafficking. Bill Clinton deepened the military partnership with Colombia, and under George W. Bush, the military shared intelligence with Mexico.
I would support legal cocaine. It's too hard of a drug. I think legalization is overall not a great thing, but maybe I'm incorrect. Somebody asked me in chat, said, would you legalize, because people always speak about legalization of drugs or whatever. I would never legalize cocaine. It's crazy. It's way too strong a drug.
This strategy didn't win the war on drugs, but it made a difference.
Had the U.S. never focused on this issue, you could only imagine these groups could be even more powerful, right?
It's at the tippity top of the addiction, harm, fucking scale. You know, the scale of addiction to harm? It's at the absolute top left of it with other few of them.
Will Freeman is an expert on organized crime in Latin America.
But has this stopped drug flows or radically decreased them in the United States? No, it has not.
Definitely.
Overdose deaths from cocaine and heroin increased over the last 25 years, and deaths from fentanyl skyrocketed to almost 80,000 in 2023. This demand kept the cartels in business. After the Medellin cartel, the Cali cartel took over. Then Colombians started trafficking through Mexican criminal groups who evolved into even deadlier cartels. When the US and Mexico cracked down on them, they just fractured into more cartels. Today, these cartels are partnering with criminal groups in Europe and Asia to traffic drugs around the world and make tens of billions of dollars a year. More than enough money to corrupt officials, innovate new ways to evade detection.
What about making a new drug that everybody takes and they don't want to take drugs because they're on this drug? It's like a drug that does nothing, but it makes you not want to take drugs. Boom.
And diversify into other crimes like human trafficking and wildlife poaching.
These are really formidable organizations, and as long as there's that demand and
education,
as long as there's robust supply, then fundamentally I think you're going to be talking about putting a lid on a situation, but not
make education addictive,
eliminating it altogether.
But Donald Trump came into office with a new plan to fight the cartels. It didn't involve curbing demand or law enforcement.
The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels.
This story is moving super fast. Trump is striking boats in the Caribbean and in the Pacific, and he recently authorized the CIA to work inside Venezuela. Now, what interests me about this story is how different outlets are covering it. This level of insight is only part of the story. Report. Now I'll take you back to the story. Trump began by focusing on 8 criminal groups, mostly cartels in Mexico. Plus Tren de Aragua, a gang started in a Venezuelan prison, and Cartel de los Sols, a criminal network in the Venezuelan military. Trump designated them as either foreign terrorist organizations or specially designated global terrorist groups, labels the U.S. used before.
They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them.
But these labels didn't have anything to do with the military. They just broadened U.S. law enforcement's abilities to prosecute and sanction the cartels and people linked to them.
So whether that is a business which launders money or goes into business with a cartel, to an immigrant who may be forced to pay a ransom fee, it allows to cast that very, very wide net.
But then Trump sent a Navy fleet to the Caribbean and authorized it to strike a boat suspected of running drugs for Tren de Aragua. He then wrote to Congress that the people killed were unlawful combatants in an armed conflict, and that the strikes were in self-defense. In other words, because drugs are killing Americans, and those drugs are trafficked in by cartels, Trump wanted to view the cartels as combatants in a war and use military force
I'm not gonna have a take, but
against them. Trump wanted to turn the war on drugs into an actual legal war. But can he do that? Under the Constitution, only Congress can declare war, which it didn't. Nor did Congress pass what's called an authorization of military force. If anything, Trump seems to be claiming his power under the Constitution's Article 2, which names him the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
This might be one of my worst takes. It's my understanding of the world that drugs are fucking god-awful, and the new drugs that people defend shit is killing people in masses. And when you have a boat and you have a full of these drugs, you're carrying a fucking live nuke. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you have a boat full of those drugs, you're carrying a fucking, it's worse than a nuke. Absolutely worse. The damage it could cause and the amount of kills you can get with that is outrageous. It should be treated as a nuke. Absolutely.
It's how Obama, Trump in his first term, and Biden justified some military operations. It's an already dubious legal argument that Trump is stretching even further, because who the military kills matters too. These strikes targeted members of enemy governments, militaries, and rebel groups. Trump is killing criminals.
There are so many problems with that.
Jeffrey Korn is a law professor and retired military lawyer.
Most fundamentally, it's not their goal to kill Americans.
The U.S. considers Al-Qaeda and ISIS to be enemy combatants because they launched attacks to kill Americans, and because they commanded their members to do it.
Think of Farouk Abdab-Muttalib, the underwear bomber. He boarded a plane in London and tried to blow it up because he was obeying orders from Al-Qaeda leadership.
The question now is whether Tren de Aragua, commanding people to traffic lethal drugs to the U.S., makes them combatants too.
This is not an evolution of that concept. If you're selling drugs, you want your customer to live, not die.
Trump also hasn't released any evidence that these
What?
combatants too.
This is not an evolution of that concept. If you're selling drugs, you want your customer to live, not die.
Trump also hasn't released any evidence that these people were working for Tren de Aragua. This strike reportedly killed a fisherman.
We're killing people.
Guys, the amount between using fent and dying of fent, that line is so slim that you don't really get to dictate whether it's deliberately obtuse to say, oh, that's awful. Come on, bro. Don't give me this shit. Because it's not like, oh, I'm going to smoke one weed. Oh, I'm high. I'm going to smoke 5 weeds. Oh, I'm dead. No. some of these drugs you could use like crazy and not fucking die. Fent is like people that try to use it without dying die all the time. So don't give me this shit where like that's the same line.
And we don't know who they are, but the truth is, unless and until Congress were to contest this claim of war power, the president is going to run with it.
And Congress isn't contesting it. When a measure came up to bar Trump from striking more boats,
there was no proof. It was
the key failure of the war on
drugs. Dude, let me guess. The boxes and the big white fucking bills was stacked up crab legs being delivered to the local restaurant. Dude, dude, please, man. Don't do that. Bro, it was all crab legs, you fucking weirdo. Jesus.
Republicans blocked it. So even though Congress hasn't authorized Trump's actions, they've also decided not to stop him. In October, Trump deployed more warships, fighter jets, drones, a submarine.
Okay, hold on. So the premise of this would be that you think that they're striking people, right, without having any information about the organization or whatever, or the boats and shit like that. You think that it's just, it looked like it. I would find it to be extremely irresponsible, and I would say that the government is fucking awful if that's what's actually happening. I am going to half assume that there's a lot of research and intel that goes way beyond the scope of the public information about what these boats are exactly and who they are precisely before doing anything about it.
Some 10,000 troops to the region and authorized the military to strike more boats. But then Trump went a step even further by claiming that Tren de Aragua is controlled by Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro. U.S. spy agencies assess that while Maduro may tolerate the gang, he does not control it. But by linking him to Tren de Aragua, Trump is claiming the power to use military force in Venezuela.
When a country is unable or unwilling to prevent its territory from being used by non-state enemies, then we assert the right to act. That's how we went into Pakistan to kill Osama bin Laden. That could very quickly escalate into a conflict with Venezuela.
But why would Trump want to do that?
Un destructor mande sus soldados expertos en misiles a asaltar barcos atuneros. Estaban buscando un incidente militar.
Venezuela has suffered under Maduro. Right after he took power, the country's economy fell apart.
Jesus
Crime
Christ.
increased and millions fled every year. But Maduro.
Chad, you wanna know why I know about the economic state of Venezuela? Because of fucking RuneScape. Yo, I've actually watched a documentary about RuneScape gold farming and how much the people of Venezuela were flooding the servers because they were just farming gold because it was better to farm gold in RuneScape to make money than anything else that they could do at home physically. It's better to just farm some fucking RuneScape gold.
Power. He survives by stealing elections and corrupting the military and elites for their loyalty. All reasons why
This is not an analogy. This is actually real. That wasn't a joke. It's a real fucking thing. Wait, that was not a tangent or whatever. It's a real fuck. What it is, it was actually real.
Maduro gone, but not the only reasons. Trump also blames Maduro for the thousands of Venezuelan migrants in the U.S. and may be pressuring Maduro into letting him send some back. Many suggest that Trump may also want access to Venezuela's huge reserves of oil. But when Maduro offered the U.S. a dominant stake in Venezuela's oil to avoid conflict, Trump refused it.
Not this oil
which could mean
shit
Trump
again,
has
man.
a more personal reason to remove Maduro. In 2019, Trump backed a coup in Venezuela that failed.
It was embarrassing for him in the end. Not only was Maduro not ousted from power in the end, the generals and others in his administration rallied behind him. I think Trump wants to win this one.
Trump may also be listening to the people around him, especially the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
Rubio, for instance, for him, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba, the three remaining autocracies in Latin America, if he can oust Maduro, I think he believes that Cuba will fall next.
Trump is sending an aircraft carrier to the region, and reports say he might order missile strikes in the coming weeks. But anything short of a land invasion isn't likely to topple Maduro.
This is a regime that fully controls its own military at the highest levels, has very sophisticated systems of espionage and control within that military, and I don't see him being willing to sacrifice U.S. lives, especially as a president who campaigned on an end to forever wars.
The war on terror started after 9/11, when Congress authorized President Bush to use force against basically anyone he could link to al-Qaeda. Later presidents used these broad limits to justify fighting in dozens of countries for 2 decades. It left the U.S. exhausted and, by some estimates, killed 4 million people. something Donald Trump promised not to repeat.
We spent $9 trillion bombing the hell out of the Middle East. And what the hell did we get other than lots of dead people, including our people? Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruption, no wars. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars.
But Trump's war on the cartels has even fewer limits than the war on terror. He doesn't have permission from Congress, nor is he even seeking it.
I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
Trump is also claiming the power to kill suspected criminals. That's a much larger group than suspected terrorists linked to Al-Qaeda. Mexican cartels are responsible for most of the drugs trafficked into the U.S., and Trump considered striking them before.
The president pulls me aside on at least a couple occasions and suggests that maybe we have the U.S. military shoot missiles.
I think drugs are fucking awful, man. I think, dude, these methods might be bad, whatever. Somebody come up with a new solution. Somebody instead of pointing out the problems, point out the solution. Find a new solution to fucking stop it from fucking dying. What happens when they min-max this shit even more? Find new drugs. This thing, 1 grain touches your skin and you blow up like a bomb. Like, what happens when shit gets even worse and everybody starts dying like flies, whatever? If you don't have the skeleton or at least the foundation of a plan to stop this shit, what happens then? Like, dude, because that's kind of what Fent is, though. Like, that was the next step to the fucking destruction of people, man. It's just awful. Then what? Like, what are the solutions? People get mad about any solution, but find one then. What is the solution then?
Into Mexico.
Explain to me.
For what? He would say to go after the cartels.
But the authority Trump is claiming could also include the power to strike the criminal groups those cartels work with, or any group Trump deems as putting the U.S. in danger. The problem is Trump is claiming the power to go to war against anyone, anywhere, forever.
What could be more of a forever war than going after a set of...
What if instead of having a border, chat? What if instead of having a border, you say, fuck this, no border? You remove everything at the border, right? Both countries go way back, and there's so much land in between both countries that people that want to do shit, they fucking die in between. It's a no man's land like lava. Like, oh, you want to walk all over? Then they would just die from one place going to the other. What? Is that bad? Like the wilderness. It'd be called the wilderness. Like roadscape.
Aimless, faceless cartels until they stop waging war on Americans, which I think we all know is, in some volume or other, never going to stop.
And if Trump can declare war on criminals, what's stopping other countries from doing it too?
Do we really want other governments to be able to say, well, I've got a criminal problem, so now I'm just going to call it an armed conflict and unleash combat power like I'm in a war? There's a human consequence for that.
Congress is supposed to place limits on the president's power to declare war. Trump is showing what can happen when it doesn't. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to Search Party yet, now is your chance to. I want to quickly talk to you about new press.
I don't really understand it. I feel like everything I hear is that the president's doing things that can't be done and all that, right? Like, is there not a body that prevents that from happening or stops it? Like, why everybody keeps saying that he's doing things that you can't do? If there are laws and you break them as president, don't you get impeached, something like that? Don't you get like voted out or some shit? I'm so confused.